those 4 years, and then they said, oh, and I tell you, I did not like the Army. I had that giant wall calendar in my room. I'm just marking off every day, counting down until I can be a civilian again. They came to me and they said, you obviously love the Army. It's a wonderful job. They said if I agree to stay in longer, the Secretary of the Army appointed me to West Point, which is a military college, free degree, while you're paid. So I said yes. And I did that for 2 years. At that point, that was my last chance to get out and be a civilian again. It's a great school, toughest decision of my life, but if I had stayed and graduated, I would have been stuck being an officer in Iraq or Afghanistan for at least 5 years, maybe 10. So I took my chance and I went back home and got a job as a jail guard, right? Just to have a happier life. That's the family business. My mother and my father and my sister and her husband, they're all jail guards back home. They love it. They talk endlessly about how just open and caring the environment is.
Program manager.
It's where I learned customer service. It's where I did that for a year and a half, and that was enough. Started going through school. It did give me a great motivation to actually make it through college. Use this money that I spent so much time in the Army getting. I've got to turn this around. I have to have a better life than clocking in here at the jail every day. So I made it through college. I did a degree in supply chain and logistics management. I finished that in 3 years while working full time. Then I got a scholarship to get my master's in international management with Mandarin Chinese. I finished that in just 1 year, and because it was at the same school I did my undergrad, I was able to take some extra classes on the side, and I finished up another undergrad in financial management. I was hired out of college for a company called Hawkey Electronics to set up a strategic partnership. They wanted to outsource the production of printed circuit boards from the US to Asia. And so I spent 6 months with them, zeroing in on the right market in Asia, and then the right company, and then the right sort of form for that relationship, which was a great experience. Then got hired on at Intel as a business analyst and an systems analyst working on large-scale IT projects. We did a big SAP transformation, which took 2 years and $200 million, and so many people burned and thrown off the bus by the end of the project. It was a big learning experience. From that, I knew I wanted to be a project manager, so I went and got my PMP at night.
Amy, what can you say?
Was speaking and getting up and being impressive in person and having that right, shoot the cuffs, check the hair, follow me, we're going to hit this goal. So I did Toastmasters to try to get a little bit better at public speaking, made it through that, got my certification, and so I thought the next level would be teaching. And so I started teaching at night at the local community college. It's just community college, but it's the largest school in Oregon, which is the benefit of coming from a very small state. So I teach project management and now marketing, which is a little awkward with no marketing experience or background. And that teacher that everybody hates, you know, it's okay, this slide says that it's terrible. The first night teaching, I wanted to get better at public speaking, right? Speaking in front of groups this large. That first night, it's a 4-hour block. You can't write a speech, you can't memorize anything, you have to just get up and lead a discussion for 4 hours. That first night, remember, I'm still working at Intel, and they're treating me pretty well. So I spoke for an hour, I took questions, I gave everybody a 10-minute break, and then I was this close. I could just go. What are they going to do? I don't need this. I almost was that close, but I kept at it. I've done that for a couple years now. I knew I needed something to speak about in the interview that I was planning on having here eventually. I heard about this program early on. It was the only one I could find that dealt with large-scale change. I'm fascinated by the idea of getting an entire organization or a large group of people to have the same vision and the same goal with all their conflicting agendas and their conflicting backgrounds and their conflicting personal styles to get them all to agree, yeah, that sounds like a good idea, and we can do it, and we know how to do it, and it's This was the only program I could find that dealt with that. And so it was worth coming all this way, and I aimed for it for a couple years. This was the very first year I hit that 7-year experience, and so I sent in my application the day it went live on the internet. They were surprised to hear from me. All in our phone interview, right, our first meeting. I'm sure it's burned in your head at this point. One of the first questions he asked me, and I'm nervous, remember, sweating palms, all over the joke, right? He says, so in one word, how would you describe your management style? And I said, dashing. I think that wraps us up. That brings us to the current day. I'm in College, and I'm happy to be here.